everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Lemnisk Podcast, where we speak with industry leading marketing experts and practitioners about all things marketing, data, and technology. I'm Subra Krishnan, your host and the co founder and CEO of Lemnisk. I'm incredibly excited today to be speaking with Darshana Shah, Chief Marketing Officer at Aditya Birla Capital Limited. In her role, Darshana leads brand strategy, marketing, and customer experience across all 10 subsidiaries and omni-channel touchpoints. She has spearheaded a digital first brand vision and built a center of excellence to drive service excellence and customer delight. With over 26 years of experience across BFSI, retail, and IT education, Darshana specializes in business ROI, product and digital strategy, CRM, loyalty, and corporate communication. She played a key role in launching Aditya Birla Health Insurance and now drives the marketing mandate for the entire group. Her prior roles span leadership positions at Hypercity, Reliance Retail, Future Group, and Shoppers Stop. Darshana holds a BSc from Mithibai College, a PGDM from NMIMS, and has completed a senior leadership program at Harvard Business School. She's received numerous accolades, including the 50 most influential women in India by Pitch and the Aditya Birla Group's Exceptional Leadership Award from Kumaramangalam Birla. She actively advises industry bodies like IAMAI, GIC, mentors startups, and writes on leadership and diversity. A globetrotter, a podcast enthusiast, and a mother of a 16-year-old teenager and a 4-year-old golden retriever, Darshana balances a dynamic professional and personal life. Darshana, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for doing this and a very, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Shubhra. Thank you inviting me once again. Always good to come on your show.
Thank you so much, Darshana. So, one of the things, of course, we've spoken before multiple times, and then we've done this podcast once before as well. And I think there are two things that always strikes me. The second of which will probably be my leading question to you. The first one, of course, is just how grounded you are in everything marketing and how you take such a um, fantastically grounded but high impact uh, role to everything that you do at marketing. So that's one thing. But the second is how you've always managed to reinvent yourself. Every time I look at what you do, that always looks like you're constantly evolving as a marketing leader, right? So that's sort of where I wanted to start this session, just by asking you, how do you do this? How has your sort of leadership philosophy evolved over time, and especially as you know, things are becoming more AI driven, more digitally integrated, and more outcomes driven, I would say, across especially a vertical like financial services. Just talk about this evolution and how you managed to do this.
So yeah, interesting. Right now, when I look back and what 2.5 decades plus that I have been. So when I started in marketing, and marketing at that time, and more branding, so to say, was more creating long format advertising campaigns, having celebrity. I remember when I was in IT, we had Vishwanathan Anand as our brand ambassador. So it was more focused on creative side, creating large campaigns, whether it is on TV, outdoor, radio, very linear mediums. Media also was as linear as that, and you were looking at taglines. So that was a typical learning in your B school and coming out there and trying to do that. So it was really that kind of marketing in a very creative side. But over the years, lots have changed, right? So from very consumer led, because as the era is changing, marketing is getting complex, consumer demands are more and more here and now, and the entire environment of media is getting disrupted, which has got disruptive, and lately Gen AI. So walking from there and getting into a whole digital era, internet era, digital era, where we started bringing digital in our mix. So from starting creative to getting digital to bringing consumer, what started becoming was data, and consumers started coming in the entire conversation. So from a mainline creative to data led insights and data led creative thinking, making that as your center stage, and was an entire ball game that one evolved to. At the same time, like I said, the media landscape changed. We have multi screens now, mobile started coming in. So television, mobile were two things. Now we also have connected TV, and now we have everything interlinked. So from digital and now Gen AI. So in all these eras, a lot of reinvention has happened. But one of the things I've learned as marketing, because otherwise marketing is always the side or a cost side in a balance sheet. Now, if you really want to be on the asset side, not because not every organization understands investment and brand. That is more when I was in retail or more in the CPG areas. In BFSI, I feel everybody is very strong CA and left brain background. So we have to look at ROI, and that is interesting because that push from becoming a very brand marketeer to a growth led leader. And I would always give his example that this 9.5 years of BFSI has taught me a lot more. I understood brand, I understood the brand marketing, but really driving outcomes, because now you're sitting in boardrooms, now you're answerable. You have to make every dollar, every rupee that you spend count. So that bringing the boardroom thinking, bringing the consumer centricity, and making your marketing entire spends count. So that's, as I think, that's the leadership hat from a plain functional hat to a leadership in a function hat is a very different thinking. And I think that's the evolution that I have seen in myself. And I tell this to each and every marketing head in my team who work with me, that we will all, I want them to grow. You have to be seen in that boardroom. Your chair has to be counted. And you can only make it count when you're contributing to business, because otherwise, what can also happen to brands, because decisions are taken in the boardroom no matter what you do. We've seen that with Vistara. That's my classic example. Finally, with Tata taking it got merged with Air India. Fantastic service first, consumer first airline. So anything can happen. And that's what we have to be ready for. Now, coming to a new, and also to constantly reinvent, like you were
Yeah.
saying, Shubhra, because that comes with the demand in the market. Consumer behavior changing, the new generations coming in. And I strongly feel that as marketeers, you have to be relevant to multi generations. I learned from my son, who is a Gen Alpha. I have, the Gen Zs in my workforce who also keep pushing me, to, because they bring a lot of digital native conversations. Their lingo is different. And I also have my team members and my peers who are Gen X or, boomers. So when you are trying to convince in a boardroom who are by and large, the baby boomers generation, but you want to be meaningful to Gen X in your OI, you can only imagine, the evolution. So you're managing the stakeholder is another thing, what you grow as a leader. At the same time, being true to your audience, your customer, and ensuring your brand's purpose and storytelling. So it's not a very simple linear thing anymore. It is multiple dynamics coming and play. And I think to manage that is where I see as a leader I have evolved. And I like the whole reinvention to becoming a growth leader.
I think so too. It's a very valid point that you brought up that, as the environment around you or the media around you is changing and the consumers are changing as well, but there are a set of core principles that you retain, but around that, you're very flexible. You learn from everywhere and everything, and with the focus of trying to completely stay relevant, especially in the
Yes.
context of the boardroom. I think that's the big message that I think everybody should take. I think, yeah. So you spoke of the consumers changing as well, right? And I think especially it's fair to say, especially in the context of financial products like insurance or investments or loans, that consumers today have become extremely demanding, especially from a marketing slash uh, customer experience perspective. Whether it is them sort of expecting that everything will be personalized to them, to sort of having high expectations of every interaction, right? So this kind of shift that we're very clearly seeing in sort of the customer behavior, how do you sort of address this shift and continue delivering value to the customer at every interaction? I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
So yes, today the consumers are learning not from your own business and behavior, not from your category. A lot is coming from the analogous category, and I always feel because what D2C has done, because e-commerce started and then came the whole D2C, and now this whole the 10-minute generation, as I call it. Everybody wants instant gratification here and now on your fingertips. Now that same, because when the consumer is doing it in one category, they expect you to deliver the same in any category. It's a behavior. So when we learned in e-commerce that I need to add one in the basket, BFSI had to bring the same thing. So in our online product journey, we also had to teach them the same. We had to give the same UI that you add the product in the basket when you were doing a claim in a health insurance. I remember back then I had to create the same transparency of where your claim is, where is it, you know, gone and how soon you will get, because they want to see that same journey what Swiggy is giving you when you're ordering
Yes.
something from a restaurant. That transparency, and especially in a category like BFSI, which over the years have not been transparent, has been a language which is more compliant and more let's say even your actuarial in language, where the consumer has been demanding that I need transparency, and this category is about trust. So yes, you see the consumer evolving. They're asking for more experiential conversations. They Today people are not really coming to buy, and anywhere that you go you're not really going to buy a product. You either want an entire experience, and especially in financial services, which is where it's not about you come to me to buy insurance or tomorrow investment. Can I now look at your data and plan your entire journey? Can I plan your life along with you? Can I empower you? Today, empowerment is another game. People want that power in their hands because that's what the app and calculators and all those resources that you give them. So at BFSI and at financial services, more so because we are an intangible product, we have to more and more play that role. Secondly, I am having a very important asset in my hand, which is your money. So I'm having conversations with your money. So the trust that we build, the experience that I give. So the marketing entire playbook has changed. You need to be transparent. The experiences that you're seeking in another category is what you are expected to give in BFSI, and that's a large change because customer is living in a 360 world. It's an omni channel world, as we call, right? And those experiences are important whether I am in your branch, whether I am on your app, whether I'm on your website, or I'm talking to your call center. And how is that data flowing? How am I utilizing it? More importantly, how am I there at every stage of your life, nudging you? And that's why, I think the world is changing more and more from people, the spray and pray marketing. I always tell them that you can't do the bombard with emailers and all. You really need to know your data. You need to know your consumer segment because we've moved into a hyper personalization world.
Yeah.
People are expecting they talk to me because otherwise, I'm not interested. Loyalty is diminishing currency. If you
Yeah.
really want loyalty, you really have to up your game. So that demand is already out there, and yes, and that's the game we are playing. So managing regulation on one side, because we are also highly regulated, we have to be managing that side of life, but also consumer expectation, which is very those hyper moments coming to really in my moment. How are you going to be important? See, Shubhra, I come from a world where when I started my career, where we were talking where you were okay, people will come to you, your consumer will find you and come to you. As opposed to today, I have to be meaningful in your journeys, in your life stages. It's a very different ball game, right? So that
Absolutely.
change is what one has to play, and one is playing, and that's why hyper personalization, nudging, being there at every moment of life, and that's why financial services is not anymore a product conversation. It's your life stage conversation. It's literally being your wealth manager, helping you, and as you grow, how we can help your money grow. So I think that's the game we are playing, and that's why it can't be a product led conversation for sure.
Absolutely. In fact, I think the phrase that gets bandied around is attention economy. And I think in this context, it's fair to say that when the customer now dictates when he or she will give attention, and
Correct.
they expect that when they do, you are going to be super relevant and trustworthy, and all of that coming together, right?
And give me the same experience that I'm getting in any other category. I'm not interested in just your BFSI, so you are your financial services, so you will take more time.
Yeah.
That sort of one is attention and one is that instant that I want to know. At least tell me if you're going to take 15 days, tell me that now. So I
And
think that's what
the
we're demanding.
Swiggy-like experience that you called out,
Yes.
right? I think that is very. In fact, the equivalent phrases I've heard is a Netflix-like experience in terms of personalization, or an Amazon like experience in terms of the entire flow to transaction. I think a Swiggy like experience from the
A
time
quick
you place an
commerce.
order, yeah,
Yes.
all the through to delivery, right? And just
Yes.
keeping that transparent is an interesting angle as well. But all of this, Darshana, has to be grounded, like you rightly started saying, in your deep understanding of everything that you know about your customer and all the data that you have about them. It really needs to come together in a very, let us say, accessible, real time, relevant way, to produce those moment of truth experiences. So, how do you do that? What is your view on setting up this data foundation, if I can call it that, number one, and then producing those moments of truths day in, day out, minute in, minute out, as and when required?
Yeah, so see, there is a whole, as you call it, the organization goes through that chain. There's a whole data orchestration that definitely, and we are a large player with multi-tenant, multi businesses, multi-regulators. So first thing first, your data philosophy has to be private because you cannot. So your data starts because we are in a category, Shubhra, which starts with trust. Trust. We are in a trust building category. So in that, I cannot at any moment or any point in my journey with you, I cannot lose that. It's very important. And in that, the second thing comes the customer data, because that's where it starts with private first. Given that it's not that I am open first, I'm private first. So wherever you have started your journey, you are the consumer of that business first, and not everybody else. Because that's why. So coming to our whole orchestration, so we definitely have that kind of data mining, and first of all, data collection, where the consents are taken at every stage of life, every stage of our connection with the consumer. We do. So it was earlier where it used to be a basic customer segmentation, or basic. Today, even how we collect data is important, because the data comes in all forms today, whether it is structured, whether it is unstructured. How do you find them? How do you keep them? How do you store them? See, if you don't have data as a bedrock of everything today that you do, and more and more for Gen AI. Gen AI only can come live if your data is stored properly. It is compartmentalized well so that the Gen AI can learn. Your AI models can learn, and it can start giving you those real time nudges, and start building. So obviously that's your bedrock. So where and how we keep our data, how we ensure that we are regulatorily, done it properly in the framework. We have the governance. That's part one. Second thing is, how do you analyze and use that data for your martech strategy? Now that's again understanding of the consumer, creating segmentation. We also do behavioral insighting now. It's not just predictive. Predictive is there. People have moved to cognitive also. So can I understand your behavior? Can I understand your social behavior? I also use a lot of AI twins now. We have digital twins available. That gives me a lot more power to immediately figure, like, people like Shubhra, like, a digital twin. What are they looking at? Where is their behavior? How can I bring that into when I'm creating my offers for you? So whether we are creating a pre-approved loan offer, we are pre-qualified loan, or whether we are doing the a pre-approved sum insured for our insurances. So various things, all our SIP planning for you, but we have to know which part of the life stage are you in, what are you seeking outside? What is your, obviously, the CIBIL data and all the other data, where we have partners and aggregators also as a part of our journey. And from there, of course, then that's where we design our journeys. That's where we design our product offering to you, that, knowing you well, and then the predicting what you will be expecting and giving you that offer. That's one part of, this whole orchestration and dissemination. Like I said, disseminating today also is in a personalized manner, that where are you seeing, it's gone are those days that what time of the day I'm seeing my email or whatever. That's why, like, people like you and so many CDP platforms have come in right today. So they help you on the entire orchestration and personalization, whether it will be a WhatsApp journey, whether it's email, whether it is IVR. Where do I catch you, or can I now have an interplay? Today I'm looking at that you may have started on my IVR, but how do I, while you're on my IVR, I bring you on my WhatsApp, because I do more detailed, conversations with you, where I allow you to interact with me on WhatsApp and bring you back onto the IVR, or bring you back, on the app, depending on where you are. So today we are on a multi communication on the channel where I can, take you from one place to another seamlessly, whether you are realizing it or not. And that's the kind of data flow that happens, that the kind of management. And this is what Gen AI helps you bring in more efficiency.
Yeah.
So yeah, so contextualizing it, making more personal, driving the nudges, and like I said, at the end of the day, ensuring that it's a win-win. As a customer, you get more, you get what is meant for you at the time that you want it, and at the price that you want. You see, that's the demand. I wanted where I am at the time, and when I because today, if I want a loan, I want a loan. Why do people say that they come to NBFCs and not waiting for the bank? Because if a bank is rejecting, I know that there is an NBFC sitting out there giving. So we have to now play that journey. So I give you at your time, at your need, and at the price which is right for you. That's the journey we are playing in. So yeah, it's a very interesting, but the data driven personalization at scale is where the game is. And that's
Absolutely. And I
how our
think,
entire backend structure is the
yeah,
martype
absolutely.
structure. Yes.
And very well put. So essentially, start with the data philosophy and keep it private first, as you rightly said, and then build the entire foundation of your understanding of the customer on top of that in the form of a one view, and then start understanding your customer as you create those segments. And you brought in the concept of predictive, of course, but also behavioral, cognitive, and the concept of lookalikes or digital twins, like you rightly said. And then in sort of reaching out to them on whatever channels they want to be reached out on, like you rightly said, just keep the whole thing seamless, right? And one thing I want to call out is that, and this is the
It's like
beauty.
really doing a Beethoven symphony, right? It's a whole
Yes,
orchestration today. And
yes,
interestingly, I was with a Google team last week, and the agentic, I know agentic has become the new buzz and the new sexy, but the amount of things, yes, it's a full discovery together. But today they can create agentic bots who can do this all from your, data management to all the way to, your last mile dissemination and personalizing it. So,
yes.
and creating nudges at every point. I think that's the game we are going to play. And it's interesting. It's exciting.
Exciting, isn't it? Yeah, and I think like I always tell this to all the marketing leaders I meet, that I think in less than a year from now, the new marketing workflows will all be agents, right? So it's all going
Absolutely.
to be agents that are going to, and so having this customer bedrock of data is all the more important, and having every insight possible is also important. Like for example, one of the things you spoke of IVR, and one of the things we started doing is taking IVR recordings and extracting topic and sentiments, and then seamlessly stitch it into the CDP, so that in the next interaction, like you said, when you take the customers on WhatsApp, you already know those sentiments. Like for example, if it was an angry call,
Yes.
better know that when you reach out to them on
Yes.
WhatsApp, right? So
Yes.
having that understanding is also equally
That's a 360 view. See, you can't personalize if I know you. And
yes,
otherwise personalization is just a word. I have to know you to it literally going back to the days when we were writing letters, right? Because when some of us didn't grow in that generation, but yes, when you're writing, I was personalizing it. So it's just bringing this whole philosophy, but it's just at scale. Now it's not just one-on-one, we're just doing it at scale.
absolutely, absolutely. And you spoke of Gen AI and agents, and that's a nice segue, because this is an area I did want to sort of touch with you as well. So of course, I think we all understand that any AI to start with is only relevant when you have your data in order. I mean, no amount of bad data can, no amount of a great algorithm or an LLM can really cover for bad data to start with, right? And of course, governance on top of that. But assuming you have these in place, right? What are some of the use cases? And you started touching upon it already. You spoke of certain use cases already, but I would love to see what kind of framework would you want to sort of give when you speak of AI, and the way you look at AI and AI driven use cases in the context of marketing.
So see, Shubhra, when AI has been there, so it's not that we are discovering AI today or in the last 2 years, right? The AI and ML models have been there. I think I remember COVID, in fact, really amplified that usage, especially in the CX area and the customer experience area. Now, whether we were doing our, IVR, bots were already there. The bots would start the call, and whether we had the WhatsApp interaction on bots had started back then. We also had it on a user journey, in the buying journey or in the servicing side. Things were there, but the way it was, so from came from a very, press one on a WhatsApp to that kind of a bot conversation limited to started becoming, it became conversational at some point in time. Then came in voice. Now, voice I knew at some point was going to explode from voice to text and text to voice. Now, actually, where we are is it is voice to voice. I don't have to have, and it is real time voice to voice. I think we were testing this. And so on the CX area, absolutely from AI to Gen AI is given, and we are really in the advanced stages in all our areas because whether it is any journey you take it, whether it is a renewal journey, whether it is a buying journey, whether it is a servicing, including our foreclosure, whether it is claims. So all the critical moment of truth. Especially, I already spoke to you about IVR that today it is not just if you're in an IVR, you only be in the IVR. Can I bring you back on a WhatsApp immediately to see? Because we had something called as a welcome call in my health insurance business, where because of a lot of missell, so we wanted to upfront tell you that if you have any lifestyle conditions, please tell us. So, accept, give us your, acknowledgement. Now, all that doing on a phone is difficult. We gamified and brought you on a WhatsApp. We again took you on the IVR. So those kind of interoperability and trying to really make this seamless has where the world has absolutely moved. And Gen AI has only taken the next level because now I can do sentiment real time. What Gen AI is helping is that today when you give me a call and if I know Shubhra is an irate customer, the bot changes the language. Earlier we didn't have it. It will still continue in the same way, and and that would, I think, irate the customer a whole lot more. Now that that's where the game is changing, that the first and the language, you see the regional. Today, I was struggling to make my call center have 5 or 6 different languages because very small population was coming from the region, but they want that language. Now whether I have that agent available, not available, the bots were more English. Today, look at it. I love the power where the conversations, the bots are talking fantastic regional, verbiage. It's not anymore accented. It's not anymore alien coming from US and talking with that full accent. No. So that's what we are testing today. And that saves me having those human beings who are on leave or not available. That really makes you, go regional in your IVR, regional in your conversation. So I think this side of Gen AI, where you are learning on the go, you're showing sensitivity, sentiments, when I'm talking about IVR and experience on that side. On the Martech, I already told you that, how I can hyper personalize my content. Today, only in fact, I had a large meeting on that. So now where we are, I'm taking this whole orchestration, like I told you. Can I use agentic and literally, if I have to do my performance, what's getting spoken in the industry? What are the searches about? From that, can I create real time content? Can I disseminate that? Can I bring it back? Can I show that on the IVR that this is the content you've consumed? So that building that 360 view with the agentic is where the world is moving today. I would still say AI is an enabler, but it's interesting to see the kind of use cases that you can, the proactive use cases that if Shubhra calls me on the IVR, can I immediately from the data preempt whether he's going to come starting, getting, is he a happy customer? Is he an irate? Can I immediately deliver? Can I change my conversation? Now, this I can do on the go, which was not possible with the earlier AI ML, like I said. And then it's constant learning. So it is exciting time. It is the now I think the not the rule, the canvas you can just repaint this canvas the way you want because the resources are available. It's just that when do you want human and when do you want the AI bots to take over? Today, like I'm saying, having said all these exciting, the white ball gazing, some of these ideas, some of course journey we've already started, but we also have to be careful on the governance side. The bots can go wrong, and we know how badly it can go wrong, right? So today we are still using it as an enabler. We are still having a human behind checking the maker and checker is on. We've not completely left on the AI. Whilst IVR and all is still easier conversations, but there is lots still which is on a maker checker. Like entire the Martech is on the maker checker. Now our images, we've had a very clear philosophy that images we've used to shoot human images because we wanted our own authentic image bank. That's lots of millions of rupees that I was spending. To now my AI, the Google Imagine has been trained to my brand language to the T. Now I can make content with human images on the and fantastic. Similarly, videos we have started. So we've started creating, working with Google VO3 is now in, right? They've just launched. So we're working with them to do the videos on the go. Imagine all your explainer videos and also a lot of disruption on the marketing side, content side is which is on now with Gen AI. Earlier it was more on the CX side, which is I told you it's going a notch above. And yeah, we're building in governance. Like I'm writing a new AI brand playbook. And what is my AI playbook looking like? Because I still need to have the governance. I still have to be sure that because we get excited in the moment marketing, everybody wants to participate in Ghibli, but Ghibli is somebody's proprietary. We don't want to be trolled. When we are creating the images on a tool, I still need to be covered that nobody can come and sue me that this is my image or this is me as a person. I don't know. It's an evolution. So we are also having those conversations with the new AI brand playbook is what I'm working on. New AI IVR or the CX playbook is what we are working on. And that's a game. So it's still an enabler. There is time for it to become a driver. And like I said, the moment you start, there's also a conversation that what am I saving? What kind of money I'm saving? Creating the capability in marketing, if you ask me, one of the conversations that I was having with my team today itself, and I believe in this philosophy of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Before the world or somebody else asks me to, disrupt and redo, I have told my team that let's disrupt and relook at what will the new marketing structure look like. Do I need this kind of team? What do I need to enable them with? Can I have a AI studio? Do I need a creative art and creative copy sitting with me? Possible today. So I need to redesign my marketing structure, relook at my marketing capability. Tools are available. Dime a dozen every day there's something new is coming in, right? But now we have to see the whole thing together for it to work. And that's the space I'm in the marketing side. And because this should not become that again, I've we've given you the AI tool, so go and cut the cost, go and cut that agency down. That won't work. So obviously, I'll have to train people, and I think I have to excite people. So we've done large scale. I have 150 marketing team across businesses. So retraining them, getting them excited. People do have inhibition. People do have fear. So the marketing team, from just not becoming a brief writer to the agency, can they be the creators? Now that's a very different ball game. Everybody's not excited to be a creator, writing content, creating content. So yeah, these are different. I mean, lots of examples I gave you, but in different areas, different things. But one thing is given that AI is here. AI is your horizontal across. It's a mindset. And secondly, we need to build the capabilities, reskill our people. So the reskilling is definitely the work in progress.
Fantastic. So many nuggets there. So I'm going to make sure that all of this gets broken down, Darshana. Two things. One is the AI playbook that you mentioned. I would love to know, and I'm sure the audience that's listening in would also love to know when you're planning to bring it out. Do let us know. I would love to do one more focus session with you around
End
that.
of the month.
Fantastic.
We
Great. So
don't
I
have
will
time.
I will be eagerly waiting for it, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to read it, understanding it, imbibe it as well. And I will give it a read, and would love to do one more session just focused on that. The second is I loved your Brahma Vishnu Mahesh framework. Let's just can you explain it briefly because this could be a fantastic nugget. So essentially, the way I understood it is Brahma being what is it that you need to start doing afresh, start doing new. Vishnu being essentially what do you want to continue doing, nurture and keep nurturing essentially, and Mahesh being what is it that you need to let go of. That's the way I understand it. Is that right, or how do you
No,
sort of?
absolutely. Because see, you and this I had learned in my retail days, and I know, Devdutt Patnaik is good in this philosophy. In Future Group, we used to do a lot of that because, and this is not just in marketing. I was just telling my two of my marketing heads today that we ourselves will need to disrupt. First of all, be open to that because the first thing. See, today the moment I present the AI story to the SMT, my team, to the board team, obviously they ask us, what are you going to say? Do I need so many agencies? Marketing and agency go hand in hand. We are the ones who spoiled it. Now, because yes, I will not need every kind of agency, but of course, I will still need my main brand partners because we are not disrupting at that level. There you still need somebody doing that disruption on what kind of your mainline campaign, but all the other work, whether I'm doing for my sales team, marketing is creating so much of content. Now if we as marketing leadership team and my leadership team, if we don't reinvent, you don't want to wait till the next session, and one CFO will come and say, "Okay, oh my god, now you're using AI, 20% budget cut." You don't want that, because then that is really then pushing you harder. That's where I bought this Brahma Vishnu, that first we have to be open that the reality is that the structure has to change. Can't be the same old structure. I can't have still so many people in a team and have AI tools and just speak about efficiency. Only efficiency or productivity doesn't matter. You need to give ROI. You need to show reduction on cost also. So that's the reality. And that's the reason I feel that let's relook at what we have to disrupt. Let's keep what is fundamental true, and which we will have to, it will have to continue. That cannot be disrupted. And so I can go back and push that, no, this side of my team or my structure will continue. This time I'm ready to disrupt. And this is what I'm going to let go completely and reinvent, as in rebuild the capacity, reskill the capacity. So that's the new marketing, the structure framework.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a fantastic paradigm. I really like that a lot. And so,
And
that
this is, I think, across, right? We used to always say that as business CEOs or founders, you should always keep doing that to your business. Be till and don't wait that somebody comes and disrupts. And similarly,
absolutely. No, I always say that, every day you need to be paranoid, right? If
yes.
paranoid every day about your customers and the value that you're creating for them, then yeah, you're going to get disrupted very, very quickly. Right? So, what next? I mean, I would love to know, like, if you look at the horizon over the next 6 months, what are some exciting things what are some things that you're personally excited about, as you look at the horizon?
Many things, Shubhra. I'm also, so there are two parts. One as a professional, one as personal. Personal, like I said, I keep reinventing myself also with time. And I'm excited too that I'm a podcaster now, because it gives me, a play the way you're doing. It gives me a play to learn from various industries, various founders, leaders, what is happening in the environment. And you get such brilliant insight. And how do I use that at work? How do I use that? And bringing all that to life at work, of course, because we're getting, the disruption is very fast, and one has to bring in the method to this madness, because it's constant now. It's become the new word in, I'm sure, every organization. Gen AI, Gen AI. What does it really mean to you? At what level are you ready to go? And like I said, that's why this whole philosophy, and but the agility, now is the time that you have to do it fast. No more, you're getting disrupted very fast. And I also am conscious about the kind of, because see, what happens, and this I know you're one of the technology partners and you're on that side. What happens is, today we are in the world where you can't marry any technology. Gone are those days where I can fully embed, because the moment you fully wed, getting out is the problem, and then the costings in renewal becomes high. So you also have to be cognizant and conscious that there are going to be multiple partners. It's not a one or two partner game anymore. And when you're going to be with multiple partners, you need to have a very, very strong governance framework. You need to have very strong, your scope of work or your agreements and MSAs that you sign with them. And there has to be a leeway that, what, because today most of the AI is coming from Western world, because you're still talking to large partners. And yeah, we have the advantage, I have the advantage of being a part of a conglomerate called Aditya Birla. So we get that kind of, first movers, people come and do the beta testing, and that advantage we have. But at the same time, I feel India is really learning fast. And the moment Indian companies start bringing this in, there will be a huge, because that is what happened, when the entire data analytics, the whole CDP side of things. It was earlier Adobe and, then Salesforce and the kind of costing, and people like you, Clevertrap, more engaged, you just sort of disrupted, became in a box then. So similar, I am expecting that will come in and come in fast. So one has to keep an eye on that. So I have divided the team into, And to what keeps me excited, I like these young ones who love, because it's a whole prompt engineering world. It's a very different, it's not more creative, and the kind of prompts that you write. So I have created a very, that Gen Z fun. So my team is that actually on the AI side, who's really, loving, enjoying different tools. I've given them the resources. I've approved the budget that please keep trying, let's learn. So we're learning a lot of tools. We're trying to see now what's in that mayhem going to work for us. And I'm also on the lookout. There will be more and more Indian partners coming in. So we're not going to be married or wedded to anybody. Let's see, because this whole game is new for you, for me together. Neither of us are coming learnt over here. And what I understand is the difference between US and us is now 5, 6 months. It's not anymore years. So the whole game is just, couple of months here and there. So that's the fast-paced movement that we are. So in that, exciting the team, moving ahead with the same full throttle, at the same time, controlling what needs to be controlled at the top, so that we don't lose our focus, is where I am, and unlearning and learning, to be honest.
Fantastic. No, this has been so insightful, Darshana. As always, I would say, and there's a lot of fantastic nuggets here, which our team will. Of course, there's a master video, but we'll also take out the smaller nuggets.
I think this is one area, Shubhra, and I will tell this to everybody. AI is not a great CMO talk. You have to do it. Like I am dirtying my hands. I write everything through AI. I research through that. I also do my presentations through that. I do my own creative work through that. Because as a CMO, if you don't do, it would not have been true earlier. Like I would not have learned Photoshop, for example, or Adobe or whatever. But today it's not an option, because if I don't do it myself, I can't lead the pack. I have to walk the talk.
It has to come from the top, and
Yeah, this one I have to dirty my hands, and I am doing more.
Fantastic. That's a great note to end the podcast on, Darshana. As always, thank you for your super insightful time. Really appreciate it. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much, Shiva. Thank you for inviting.